Hi everybody, welcome to our channel, Rebecca, Stu, and the crew. I'm Rebecca, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make this sign using mostly items from the Dollar Tree. So the supplies you're going to need are one of the stretched canvas pictures from the Dollar Tree. Any one will do. You'll also need some of their nautical rope. They have it in 2 different colors now. You'll need some of the dried flowers, if those are the flowers you choose to use. I'm using these 2, as well as some of these little pink flowers, some greenery. I'm also going to use some of these white flowers. Now the flowers are totally up to you and what you want to put on your sign. You'll also need one of their wall decal stickers. The ones I'm going to use is this one here called Faith Can Move Mountains, from the $1 decorators. So you'll need the Mod Podge and a sponge brush, also at the Dollar Tree, as well as some Fix All adhesive. Then I'm going to use some white paint to paint the frame, and we'll need some paint brushes to do that. And you're going to need some hot glue, a pair of scissors. You'll also need something to write with, and then you can either use the Crafter Square large canvas, you can use the foam board that Dollar Tree sells, or I'm going to personally use this piece of scrap wood that I just had from a previous project. You'll also need from Hobby Lobby some of this Paper Studio scrapbooking paper. I'm using the blue and white stripes and a piece of the burlap paper. So that's all from Hobby Lobby. Everything else was from the Dollar Tree. So let's get crafty. So the first thing we're going to do is take our stretched canvas paper or picture here, and we're going to open it up and take that canvas off. Once we have that off, we just set that aside because we're not going to use that. Now taking our piece of burlap paper, we're going to flip it over and put our frame on top of the paper and trace around it with your pencil to mark the lines where you're going to cut this down. So now we're just going to cut it out with the scissors, and now we're going to find the center of both pieces of paper, just because this is going to make it easier to center our frame on the picture once we start putting it all together. So I just fold it in half both ways and put a small little crease along the edge there so that I can find the center. Then I take my pencil and just put a small little dot right in the center where that crease was at. And I do the exact same thing on the burlap piece of paper so that I know where the center is for that piece as well. Next, I'm going to take my foam brush, my Mod Podge, and my board that I chose to use. Again, you could use the canvas or the foam board, apply the Mod Podge, and then take our main piece of paper, the background, and put that on, rubbing out all of the bubbles. Let that dry for a little while, and then go ahead and find that center dot. You're going to take a ruler or a straight edge, and you're just going to mark along the edges of the paper where the center is on the top and the bottom and both sides. This is going to help us line up our piece of burlap paper as well as the frame that we're going to use. So as you can see, I do the exact same thing on the burlap paper. And now all I have to do to line this up is try to get the little dots to line up, and I can just take that straight edge or ruler to help me line it up. Then I went ahead and took some more Mod Podge and put that on the back of the burlap piece of paper, then line up those little dots and then place the paper on top so that it is centered. I did take a little bit more Mod Podge to help get these edges down. Once that dried for a little while, I did put another layer of Mod Podge over that to seal it, and then I took my frame and painted it white. So now I set everything aside to let it dry. Once it's dry, we can start gluing on this frame. So I used the Fix All adhesive and hot glue on the back of this frame, and then I just center it over the top of that burlap paper and then stick that down on top. So we let that dry for just a little bit. The hot glue helps hold it in place while that Fix All adhesive is setting. And then I'm just going to use the hot glue to put the nautical rope around it. So I didn't use the Fix All adhesive on this part just because I felt like it really wasn't necessary. The hot glue does a really good job holding the rope. And so I just went all the way around all 4 edges before I cut the rope because I wanted to make sure that I had enough. Now when you put this nautical rope on, you can give it a little bit of a tug to help stretch it out a little bit so it lays nice and straight. So once I had that all the way around, I did cut the excess off on that edge there. Now taking our wall stickers, I went ahead and cut those apart so I could kind of play with them and see where I wanted them to be on the center of this picture here. They do have that white background, so it makes it a little bit hard, but I thought it was wise to start at the bottom with the words to make sure that I had enough room to fit those all in. So I laid them out first and then decided to go ahead and start putting them on starting at the bottom. Then I went ahead and put the faith at the top, and then the small little piece in the center that says can move. And that way it all fit, and I could line it up the way that I wanted it to do. So be careful before you put these on. When you peel off that backing, you don't want to get too close to that paper and have it stick down, because it will tear when you're trying to remove it to recenter it. So once those words were on, I just took some hot glue and my greenery, and I started to put that around this bottom edge here. And then I took the hot glue and also put on that dried flour that I had taken out of that one packet of the dried flour bundle. So I just glued that right to the corner. Then I had some of these white flowers, and I used that to fill in a few little spaces down in the corner. Then I did the exact same thing up at the top and the opposite corner. Once I put the dried flower, the greenery, and these white flowers in, I thought I liked the pink color to kind of go with that natural look. Now you can just leave it as is or add little pops of color if that's what you wish to do. I did like the little bits of pink just kind of poking out from under these flowers, so that's why I put those on mine. And again, I just used a little bit of hot glue on those so that I could tuck it up underneath the flowers and hold those in place. And I just used about 3 or 4 pieces for each side. And that's the bottom corner. The top corner is about the same. Here you can see the nautical rope on there and a close-up of the words and how that's all on there. And that is the finished project all done. I just love how this turned out. You can put a hanger on it if you choose. I just have mine leaning up against a wall there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and share. And here are some other videos from our channel you might also enjoy. Have a great night.